Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the pod, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing. So do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, that's my favorite show. Yep. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Yeah. What up,
I don't let off the gas.
Oh.
I go hard on the second I have a back-to-back. Deuce Mason, Morgan Riggin.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Oh, no.
We are live. How we doing on a Thursday night? Man. You know, when you have an exciting win last night, you wish you didn't have a game the next night because you just want to enjoy it for a second.
Yeah.
And it's like, we enjoyed that Cavs victory to the fullest last night.
For
But it was
sure.
also like, I'm going to got a game tomorrow against the Bulls. You got to take care of business, or what does it all mean? And what did we see tonight? We saw the Bulls, quite frankly, dominate the Kings from the 4-minute mark of the second quarter on. Insane. I feel like I was about to just dive into some numbers on the podcast. I need to relax a second. How
chill.
are
chill.
we doing?
Calm down, kid. Calm down. We're good.
I mean, you know, in some ways, it's like, hey, this is kind of how the season's been, right?
Yeah, it's
Kind of used to it now, huh?
not about that. I think it's more. It's not about, and again, when you ride off a high of a game, like I feel like after the Grizzlies game, I remember on our show, on the pregame show, they put like, are the Kings back?
Oh, yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
they wanted that to be the topic. And I remember being like, I asked it more to you, like, is this more like how the Kings can play? And then they do it in another game against a really good team, the best team in the East. And so when you see that happen, you believe more and more. But now you're brought back down to earth
Especially
reality.
on a night like you got a couple of guys back in LaRavia and LaVine, and you just played well last night. And then you get up 19. You got up 19 in this game, and then it just completely falls apart. My goodness, I was just doing some quick math right before the pod.
What?
Woo! Not good.
Oh, God.
After the Kings went up 19, they were outscored 88-57 the rest of the way.
Oh, God.
My God. And then Red Velvet.
Oh,
Kevin
God.
Huerter.
Oh, my God.
Damn,
like,
dude.
heel
Hey.
Red Velvet.
Kevin Huerter came back and was like, chip on my shoulder? You act like I was like a washed up bum that should be playing overseas?
Yeah, dude.
No. All of a sudden, he's got to change the scenery. He's knocking down threes coming into this game. And then tonight, 11 points in the fourth quarter, dropping daggers in Sacramento.
Daggers.
Oh,
Yeah. The Bulls tweeted out, Kevin Huerter was feeling right at home. Fire emoji. And it's like, I know. I'd be shoving it in everyone's face too.
man.
That's the thing.
That's a weird feeling tonight, huh?
Yeah.
It's weird because like I feel like I'm so used to this season where it doesn't hurt me as bad deep inside. Like I'm still frustrated by the loss, but I'm like, of course this is what happened. I mean, of course this is what happened.
Yes. I think how I saw even like last year after the Beam Team year, it was like expectations going off this high. Okay, whatever. Start of this year was more disappointing because it was like the expectations, the I guess tweaks, or you know, just the roster was just coming in different, and you just felt like, okay, maybe they can oh yeah, it was DeMar DeRozan off season.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like you're feeling good. Expectations are high for this team in the Western Conference, no matter who the hell is playing. And it hurt differently. And now I think, 25 games in, or maybe when Mike Brown got fired, it was like, yeah, we felt like, okay, this season was just going to shit the bed.
Yeah.
Doug brought it back to life. Then you got brought back down to reality. And now you're just kind of on this ups and down kind of.
Yeah. You know what you are? You're kind of like a play-in team, kind of like an average team. Oh, yeah, that's where you're at.
Yeah.
In the 9th spot. Now you just hope you stay at 9th. And yeah. It's last night doesn't erase the good you did. Excuse me, tonight does not erase the good you did last night, but man, you this is a game you needed to win on the home floor. It's just so,
and you had it.
That's the other, you had it.
That's
Shout out to the basketball sickos who are here after a loss like this, because I know there's some people like, you know what, I can't do it tonight. After the game's over, my team just lost. I can't listen to Deuce and Mo.
And 2 nights in a row too, where it's just like, if you could ride off the high a little longer, I get it. But like a loss on a second night of a back-to-back after an epic win, it's just tough.
Let's get some shout outs tonight. Shout out to Cameron in the building. We met our guy Matt out there who was in LA, from LA, excuse me, and he was at the game tonight. What's up, Gregory, Peg, Junk, Donald, James, and Brian. Also said what's up to Dennis Youngblood, who said he couldn't really get your attention because you were on your phone at one point during the half, Morgan, doing something. So,
me?
Yeah, it's all right.
Sorry.
But next time, Dennis, yell for Morgan.
Yeah.
What is up, Banta? Kings fan is in the building. What's up, Mojo? And Dane, Manny, too legit. Stephen Brown. He says, stop getting excited about this team. They're trash. I don't think anyone got excited about the team. I think people got excited about a win. I think that's the other thing sometimes I notice on social media is like the people who there's like one guy, my guy Jack, young Jack on Twitter.
Okay.
Awesome. Super passionate basketball fan. But I see him tonight because he wasn't a big fan of the Valanciunas trade when it happened. Then Valanciunas starts playing well. Doesn't say anything for weeks. And then tonight he's popping off because the last couple of games, the Kings are forced to go small ball 5 and JV can't play.
I mean,
I'm like, okay, like now you're loud about it.
But it's the same thing when people hated Kevin Huerter or De'Aaron Fox or Harrison Barnes. Like, people are loud with their hate. It's the same thing people do on Yelp for reviews, all the different things.
We got Adam who says, my body hates me for being a Kings fan.
I know.
Oh, what's up, Kevin Durant? Barbara in the building. Hey, Sean. Yep. Sean said, what's up, too. No, we always appreciate people saying what's up to us. Before, during the game. I mean, whenever. It's great.
After all the things.
There's sometimes in the middle of a game I'm pretty distracted. So if I'm just giving you a little, hey, it's not because I'm an asshole. I'm just locked. Again, basketball minds here.
But here's the other thing. People also don't get to see when like someone's actually in our ear talking.
I know.
And so I always feel bad.
My favorite part is during the break, Morgan is like, someone's like, in a producer interview, hey, we're coming back here. We're going to talk about Zach LaVine. And then someone in the back goes, Morgan. And so Morgan's trying to listen to.
I always feel bad because I don't want, it's like, I just can't. I have to make sure I stay locked in and do a good job at my job too. So just know I'm not being rude.
All good. All right. Let's talk about it, huh?
Adam says, worst time to be sober is during the Kings season.
By the way, Carlin, I know you guys can't see Carlin right now.
We don't have
the
sky cam?
No.
Oh.
I'm just going to pull back here. Look at this nugget. Look at him. Just need to be on Dad's lap, All right. This is what makes me feel better sometimes. Dogs.
That's what dogs do.
They are the best. All right. Deuce and Mo, we're coming down 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Podcast?
Jesus.
That was bad, huh? You know what messed it all up? I hit the button here, and you see that slight delay when I hit the button?
There was a delay the first time,
I know.
too. So
I don't like that. So can we do that again?
I have no control.
I know you don't.
This
Deuce
is
and Mo,
your
on 3,
world.
2, 1. Music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this late on a Thursday night, the second night of a back-to-back for the Kings, taking on the Chicago Bulls, riding in on the ultimate high of highs after beating the Cavs. Kings played without LaVine, Sabonis, and LaRavia and handled business against one of the best teams in the NBA. Tonight, a matchup with the Chicago Bulls, who had been playing some better basketball, coming off a loss last night in Phoenix, getting into Sacramento super late, and Sacramento got off to a red-hot start. They end up knocking down 11 threes in the first quarter. They get up by 19, and then 4 minutes to go in that second quarter. All of a sudden, a little bit of a Bulls run because some Kings sloppiness, and the Bulls absolutely take control the rest of the way. After being down 19, Chicago outscores Sacramento 88-57 the rest of the way. It was Coby White with a monster game, and especially in the second half, but it was Kevin Huerter, the ultimate revenge game, dropping 25 points, including some dagger threes in the fourth quarter. The Bulls come to Sacramento, beat the Kings 128-116, and the Kings are now 35-34. This podcast is always presented by our friends over at Centivo Vineyards and Winery. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
So good.
Wow.
I'm fine.
You don't sound fine. Express yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll unpack this for a second. What's the most frustrating aspect about this game tonight?
I think more so that it's like they just had it. They had it. It's not because they were up 19. You know, it was the way they were playing and they were up 19. And it was like, could they just keep that padding there in this game? And I felt like they could have, but again, the Bulls, they know how to turn things around. They have some dogs on the squad, and they had Kevin Huerter, who wanted a serious revenge game and stepped up big. And like in so many ways, good for him. I wish I could celebrate it in a loss for the Bulls, you know, and be like, oh my God, he got his revenge game and the Bulls still lost.
It's not really a revenge game if you lose the game, though. You can have a good night. I mean, if you lose,
a good night as an individual.
we don't count as a revenge
Really?
game. You'd be like, hey, I had a good night, but hey, it wasn't enough.
Fuck that. I'm taking it as a revenge game. If I'm out there and I came back to my old team and I'm like
Wow.
dropping threes
Selfish.
and my team loses, I'm like, haha, we suck, but I did great.
You know what? It was interesting. I was watching Kevin Huerter before the game, and he was
Yeah.
being greeted by everyone.
Everyone.
Kings front office, Vivek Ranadive, old teammates. Everyone was saying, what's up, Kevin? Like, taking pictures with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was smiling, having a good time.
Yeah.
But once that game started,
Oh, yeah.
he was cold-blooded out there tonight. Where did this all go wrong for the Kings tonight? Where do we start? It was such a weird start to this game because the Kings literally could not miss from three.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit 11 threes in the first quarter
That was
of this game.
so fun.
And it was explosive. And it wasn't just like, hey, they were just jacking threes. They were creating awesome looks. I thought
Yep.
the pace was good. They were making sure, hey, we're getting in the paint, we're kicking out. Even, you know, Malik would come down and knock down a three, but he was red hot to start this game. Sacramento was 11 of 17 from three, and 11 of their 12 makes in the quarter were from downtown. They led after one, 39-28. It was awesome. I love the ball movement. They were making the extra pass. Trey Lyles, what I appreciated about him, especially in that first quarter, was he touched that ball, he was letting it fly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like, it didn't, like, you know, we keep saying that they were generating these good threes, these open looks, but I even felt like at times they were contested, but they were just quick. There was a quick decision. It was in the flow of the pass coming to your shooter's pocket.
The defense rotating over.
Yeah, and so
Right.
that if you had that quick second, but you're squared up and you're good to look at the basket, you were going to take that three and being able to execute that shot as well. Like, you're just feeling good. Now, they couldn't score in the paint, it felt like, but they also didn't need to at that point of the game. But I also felt like then in the second quarter, they started doing a better job of driving, kicking. They started making the defense shift a little bit more, but then they started missing a little bit more. And I felt like when missing happened, then sloppiness happened, then their defense, they couldn't stop anyone getting into the paint. They could not slow down anyone. The Bulls finished with 60 points in the paint. No resistance, just no resistance. After a night of like pure resistance along the perimeter from Keon, Devin, Keegan.
There was definitely a shift at the end of the first half. So the Kings go up 19, and you're like, okay, they're feeling good. But how are they going to respond the final 3:59 of this quarter? You talk about maybe slowing it down a little bit, but also they had 3 turnovers during that stretch.
Yeah.
And the Bulls absolutely made the Kings pay for points off turnovers in this game. And all of a sudden, a 19-point lead is cut to 9 at the half. And you're like, that went away way too fast.
Yeah.
64-55. The Bulls feel like, oh, we got to feel pretty good about things. The stat I loved at the half is Chicago only took 14 threes in the first half. I'm like, okay, they're getting points in the paint, but for a team that takes the second most threes in the NBA, they're not taking a lot. So what was it going to look like to start the third quarter? And it felt like it just carried on. I mean, the Bulls, to me, their approach was fantastic. And Coby White, the last, year and a half, I think, has really emerged and taken his game to another level. This guy had 4 points at the half.
Yeah.
He had 31 in the second half.
Dude.
He was relentless, and the Kings could not stop him at all.
It's like he would just body through whoever was in front of him. Even there was a moment or a play when Keegan, a couple plays, but like there was one specifically where Keegan was like defending him, and Keegan's kind of flowing his body into Coby White's body, and Coby White didn't need to sell it like flop dramatically or anything, but he sold it with the way that he was fading with his body and was like, oh, this is altering me, my body, my shot. This is illegal, physicality, whatever you want to call it. And it's like he sold that to the officials in different ways while still, when he wouldn't get the call, just battling through someone's chest. Like he did just a fantastic job all night long. Well, mostly in the second half, really just battling through guys.
And the tweak that Billy Donovan made at the half was changing the lineup, right? I thought the Kings did a great job attacking mismatches in the first half. Like when you have a lineup out there that features Huerter and Buzelis, I think the Kings look at that and they seek out opportunity. I thought many times Trey Lyles is doing a good job putting the ball on the floor when he saw a mismatch up from the perimeter. He said, oh, I got Huerter on me, I'm driving, I'm getting to the free throw line or getting into the paint. And then DeMar, it seemed like he was seeking out Buzelis. But in this game, in the second half, Donovan played Julian Phillips, who's athletic, 6'8", good size, much more Patrick Williams. And I think that changed things for Sacramento. It became a lot more challenging for them. And, the Bulls are going small at times when Vucevic is out of the game. And the Kings went really small. Valanciunas gets pulled at like the 8-minute mark of the third quarter, does not play the rest of the game. We saw Lyles at the 5, lineups with LaRavia at the 4 and Keegan at the 5. And in some ways, you're like, okay, I like the switchability of this unit if they can get stops, but the Kings could not contain the Bulls at all. And then you're in tough spots when your only big out there is like Keegan Murray, and he's got to help. Who's going to be there when the ball's getting passed inside? Yeah. Right? Who's going to be the helper? Some undersized guy on a big for an easy bucket at the rim, or who's getting that rebound late? I thought that was kind of a critical adjustment that was made by Donovan, and it paid off.
Yeah, in that you expect teams that are well coached to make their adjustments. I just felt like the Kings didn't adjust to their adjustments, right? Like in game with the flow of the game, just keep going. It was like, it felt like in their body language, and I'm saying like way too much. Frustrated for myself.
Like
yeah. But it felt as if when the Bulls would adjust something, let's just say it was, we're going to give it to this guy, Coby White. Like he's on fire. He's just picking the mismatch and going, whatever it is. The Kings' urgency to adjust back, I just didn't feel like was there throughout the night And sometimes I think that's mentally locking in at a different level, especially if you're a little mentally fatigued for it being a second night of a back-to-back. Like, different guys and different bodies are going to, I guess, approach a second night of a back-to-back in different ways. Sometimes someone doesn't feel it at all. In another game, they could be like, oh my God, my legs, I'm short in my shot, whatever. And I just felt like tonight as a whole, when there was just some guys that were having lulls, it never felt like anyone else was just making the shift or stepping up for those guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, here's my problem. Okay, this whole notion after the game, DeRozan talked about, and so did Monk, that they let off the gas. What is this letting off the gas? Because you're up and it's the second night of a back-to-back. You talk about the mental focus. It's like, yeah, you go for the knockout blow. And it's not to say that the Bulls aren't going to make a run in this game. Like, obviously the Bulls are going to make a run in this game. But you can counter it by coming out and playing the same style of basketball that you played in the first half. It doesn't mean you're going to knock down 11 threes in a quarter. But Sacramento, it felt like the pace slowed down. It felt like it was a lot more ISO ball again. I'm like, where is the creation? This Bulls team came into this game tonight allowing the most points in the paint in the league. About 56 a game. 50, and there were times tonight when the Kings attacked the paint. You know what it led to? Easy attempts at the rim.
And even more threats from the outside, like more looks from the outside.
It wasn't that attack mode was not there on a consistent basis, or maybe they miss a look at the rim. They can't get a rebound because they don't have the size out there. Or they're not making they're taking a tough shot inside instead of getting off the ball, moving it around. Sacramento, in that first quarter, 11 of 17 from three, Morgan. 11 of 17 from three. An amazing number. The rest of the game, 4 for 22.
And not all of it was because of the Bulls defense, right? And that's what was frustrating about it. And it's like, sure, if you get cold, how can you do other things better? Well, speaking of cold, the Kings finished with 12 turnovers, right? But that turned into 20 points for the Chicago Bulls. And my point to that being is, like, all those turnovers weren't even because of the Bulls defense. It was just the Kings not mentally locked in and, just dribbling it here or there, being sloppy with it, whatever. And the Bulls capitalizing on every single mistake the Kings were making.
Yeah, and they played with so much force. And we talked about with Coby White. He had 35 points in this game. He got to the free throw line 14 times. 14 times. And he was just attacking. And there were sometimes I'm like, okay, he's being a little too physical. Are they allowing this? Or is he getting away with some stuff? But he approached it the right way. And Sacramento's inability to slow him down, definitely cost him. And I thought even Trey Jones, who's been getting more minutes after coming over in that trade with San Antonio, that 3-team deal that sent LaVine to Sacramento, he's really impacted things in a good way. And I thought he had some nice pushes in transition to get their offense going. And the Kings just look like a mess at times, And so that's a frustrating element when you see a team that's so locked into the game plan against the Cavs last night, and then tonight struggling with the Bulls' pace. They're one of the fastest teams in the NBA. I think they're like top 3 in pace in the league. But you got to control what you can control. And if you play a disciplined game offensively, it's going to make things easier for you defensively. They did not do that tonight.
Frustrating. Ugh. I'm just I'm frustrated.
You're getting more frustrated as we talk.
And I saw a dickhead in the chat, Adrian.
Okay.
And then thank you, Michael, for being sweet and sticking up for me. What?
Who cares? You get on me for getting mad at the chat. What did Adrian say that made you erupt like that?
Mo talks, but says nothing at all.
You're going to let one guy get to you
No,
about
but
it?
I'm just irritable. And I'm a little bit tired. And it's like, this is exactly how the Sacramento Kings were on the floor. They didn't stay locked the fuck in, and they let other things get to them. And so I am going to stay locked in, and I'm going to be okay. And I'm not going to get heated with it.
You literally just did.
I know, but I got my technical, and now I'm good.
And guess what? I'm Doug Christie looking at Malik Monk going, why are you getting a technical right now? Why are you getting a technical?
Guess what?
Play the game.
Hey, coach, it happened. And you do the same shit sometimes. Not recently.
Maybe once this season. And I used to do it Like every night.
So I can't have one time?
No, you can't. Stay locked in. You just got Adrian, who's always in the YouTube comments talking shit. Who cares?
He's just...
For every one person, there's 1,000 other people who come up to you and go, Morgan, I love you. All these little girls who come up to your game.
It's sweet.
All these, everybody's coming up to you talking about it.
No, it's very sweet. I just don't appreciate rude people. I just am like grossed out. But you're right. It's one mean person.
Hector in the chat says, Deuce, why didn't Jonas Valanciunas play more? I think it's kind of the same problem you saw last night. There are just some tough matchups out there, and I think they were going at him a little bit, right? I thought he was going to be able to stay with Vucevic a little better. I think I would have gone back to him, though. And I thought one thing that's challenging with him against some of these more athletic bigs is just their ability to get by him. You kind of get stuck in no man's land, and Vucevic has the ability to space the floor with a three-point shot. He can also put the ball on the floor and make stuff happen and kick out for three. He's a good playmaker. He had a pretty solid game in this one. I thought like one mistake Valanciunas made was he played too far off him. I wanted to see him get up on Vucevic a little bit. It's like, you know what? If he gets by you, this is not like Evan Mobley getting by you.
Sure.
Right?
Like he still has a slow step. Like someone's going to come.
Yeah. So I was a bit surprised they did not go back to Valanciunas in this game. But that's the challenge with him. And it was kind of the same thing with the Pelicans, last year, where in the last couple of years, he would start games for them, but he'd maybe play like 24 minutes a night because there's so many teams now that like to go with small ball 5 looks, and he just can't play in lineups like that from the defensive standpoint.
Yeah, and I think also when you look at this game too, like, I mean, you talk about Jonas right there, and then you look at someone like Keon who played 18 minutes in this one.
Well, that's the problem.
And it's a little confusing. I know he wasn't having the best game in the world or anything. He finished with 0 points, 4 fouls, 2 rebounds. And I get it. Maybe Doug had a good feel on him where he was at and everything. But I look at this game and so much of it was there was no resistance along the perimeter.
Morgan, he didn't play in the fourth quarter. Yeah, Keon Ellis played 18 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
One of the primary things, I know we're not to the offseason yet, but near the top of Deuce Mason's list of important things to address in the offseason.
Oh, well, I love this. What is it?
Very long name. I condense it. Huh?
No. I like it.
It's got to be clear up the roster so Keon Ellis is starting for you. He's got to start. And I think there are times tonight, especially in that first half, where, the Kings are still sticking with the same lineup that starts Monk, LaVine, DeMar, Keegan, and Valanciunas, or Sabonis if he's available. And it's, again, you've got one strong defender out there. It's so important to have at least 2 defenders out there with this team. And you saw stages tonight where it did work. Like the end of the first quarter, the bench came in for Sacramento, and I think it was Carter, Ellis, LaRavia. 3 guys out there with LaVine and Lyles. Those guys were flying around out there. And that team, that unit closed on a 14-6 run at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And I love that energy they brought. But anyway, my point is they got to figure that out in the offseason. It's like Keon Ellis just needs to play. Like, he's too good of a player. Oh, he had an off night. He was foul. I don't care. Keon Ellis is a really gifted defender, and you're better with him out there, especially when he's playing with Keegan or LaRavia or Carter.
And good players have off nights. I mean, look at Zach LaVine tonight. Obviously, last night, gone, didn't play, personal reasons.
Yeah.
Tonight, he's back, play against his former team. 33 minutes, he had 8 points. He didn't even have a field goal until the second, until a made field goal until the fourth quarter. He had made 3 free throws. He was 3 for 3. It just wasn't his game. 1 for 6 from beyond the arc. I wanted to see him attack more because good things happen when he gets to the rack. He can get crafty. He can finish left, right, wherever. And I just felt like those things weren't happening enough for him. And we've said this before about him. He takes off too late in the fourth quarter or whatever. And I felt like he was starting to finally even take shots late in this one as well.
It's interesting because, of course, I'll go back and look at this again because just off the top, I felt like the Bulls did a really good job on him. I felt like when he got the ball, they were sending another guy at him.
Well, they did that to DeMar a lot.
They did that to him. Yeah. And DeMar, I thought DeMar did a pretty good job of getting off the ball, but the Kings just like, the passes didn't seem crisp even in the second half, where it'd be a floating pass and you're not catching it clean. You're catching it near the ground. So the ball can't pop as much. And when those passes are on target, you could put the ball on the floor, attack a closeout, get it swinging, whatever. I didn't feel like that in the second half. But to the LaVine part, I felt like they were pressuring him with the ball. They knew his game and they would send 2 at him. He would get off of it, but it doesn't mean you can't get it back. It doesn't mean you can't cut to the basket and try to make something happen. And again, this is what we talk about with LaVine. You can't have games from him where he takes 9 shots.
Yeah.
Like, he was 2 of 9 tonight. I'd rather him go, 5 of 17. Like, that's fine. I need Zach LaVine to be aggressive. And when there are times you're watching him and he's just stuck in the corner not doing anything, that's a problem.
It is, and especially because he's athletic and can move without the basketball. And there are people on the floor like Malik Monk who are incredible playmakers at times and can find you, get you on those backdoor cuts or wherever it may be. Yeah, frustrating to see from Zach LaVine once again. And that's why I guess even when I look at the 18 minutes for Keon Ellis, I'm like, you couldn't just shove him back in there?
Again, he did not play in the fourth quarter. Look, Ellis came out when it was a tie game, 80-80 at the it was 86-80 when he came out of the game, at the 2:13 mark. He did not play the rest of the game.
Yeah, tough to see.
And so that is definitely tough. I thought Devin Carter had some good moments out there
Agreed.
At times, and it's good to see him getting some rhythm, but I don't know, man. It seems like there are more moments, and I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment here, but, when one of these guys are missing, like when LaVine's out or a Monk's out, and you see Keon play more minutes or you see Devin in an expanded role, I can't help but look and go, it just feels better to me. It just feels, because I think it's important to have guys that can go out there and get stops. It's not to say that LaVine's not super talented or that Monk's not super talented. I'm aware of their talent. But, man, I just feel like you need to have guys that can switch, especially in this league with so much talent, and put pressure on the ball, that when you have got a couple of skilled defensive players with versatility, and they can also play with like a player or two that can go get buckets, great things can happen. And, it seems like when the Kings get back to full strength, it just doesn't flow the same way.
And look, at times it's not going to flow the same way too, because you're out of whack, not playing with all the same guys all the time. Maybe if they had a training camp together, it's a different story where we don't get to even use that as an excuse, right? Where it's just like, no, you started off the season with this roster, with this team, in training camp since the beginning. You chose an identity of how you were going to play, whatever, you plug and go. This team doesn't get to do that, but at the same time, there has to be a different type of desperation and urgency to get there, because you're in March and you only have so many games left. And I'm not acting like wave a magic wand and just make it happen. But at the same time, you just have to choose to do the right things in your role on the floor every single minute you are out there.
I think to that point, Doug Christie is kind of piecemealing this, his first time in this position with a whole bunch of Mike Brown assistants, one. After making these the big trade at the deadline, you're trying to find rhythm in the final, 30 games of the season after the trade, right? However many games were left. I don't think people talk enough about how making these big trades in season, it's not the easiest thing. It doesn't always flow smooth. I know even the Warriors got off to a good start with Jimmy and it worked for a minute, but it's showing some signs of leakage a little bit here in the last, 4 or 5 days. It's not always perfect, and they're trying to put Kuminga back in. Anyway, my point is, it looks like maybe there's a little bit of rhythm. Then you got Sabonis with a hamstring, misses 6 games. Monk misses games. Then you get guys back, and then LaVine's missing a game. LaRavia's missing a couple of games here. Sabonis is back out. And so you're trying to figure out each other on the fly already.
Yeah.
And now you're doing it with, oh, we're going to play this guy. I mean, Devin Carter 3 weeks ago wasn't even playing.
And
right? He's playing in Stockton.
And that's why if you have an identity at the beginning of
Yeah.
the year or some of the best players in the league, you can plug and play at a much easier level. Not an excuse. Got to figure it out either way. It doesn't matter. Just being realistic about the situation.
Man.
I know.
Yeah, it's a tough one tonight.
One thing that I pointed out on the postgame show that I want to make sure I mentioned, Keegan Murray, his 9 rebounds. He led the team in rebounding with those 9. And Trey Lyles off the bench with 6. But again, for Keegan, on nights like this, when it feels like you need couple more buckets, I would still like to see him be even more aggressive on that side of the ball.
Well, that's the thing. In the second half, I don't feel like there was enough balance. I mean, look, Monk took 19 shots. He had 34 points in this game. I thought Monk actually had a really strong offensive game.
Yeah.
He got it going from 3 early, and he was one of the guys that was doing a good job attacking the paint. DeRozan took 22 shots, 9 of 22. The rest of the starters, you got Keegan taking 8 shots. You got LaVine taking 9, and then the 3 for 3 at the line. Okay. Lyles had 11 shot attempts off the bench. So having a little more balance would be nice too.
That was so fun how the game started.
Oh my God. I was just thinking about, man, when they're up 19, I'm like, dude, okay, if they could just put this team away 3 in a row, you're feeling good. Second night, I have a back-to-back without Sabonis. Cool. But it was just the way it went bad. It just felt like it went so bad. I mean, you get outscored 88-57 after taking a 19-point lead. I mean, that's just domination. I mean, you had a good first half, however many minutes that was. So what was it 12 plus 8? That's 20. You had a good 20 minutes, and then the rest of the way,
I didn't feel like it was an effort thing. I just felt like it was a, hey, you're not doing the right things kind of thing, right? Being sloppy with the basketball. We've talked about resistance, making these guys feel you, so they didn't have line drives or just easy access to the paint. Way too easy.
Yeah. They miss a bonus too right now. I'll tell you that.
That as well.
Let's hear a little Doug Christie after this loss tonight. I'm sure he wasn't too happy.
Unacceptable. There's a lot there that's unacceptable, but you can't let people come into your house and just do what you want. Do what they want. The energy necessary to do what we need to do was not there tonight. Super disappointed, and this one stings, and I told him I hope that it hurts. It should hurt if you care about it. It should hurt really bad. And I didn't even play, so yeah.
Doug, Malik and DeMar talked about how they thought in the second half the offense kind of became a little stagnant. From your perspective, what do you think causes that in some of these games, and what might you guys be able to do to remedy that?
I think more than anything, it's I think I can do it type of a attitude, and that that's great because everyone should believe in themselves. But they were shown multiple videos, and they know to, especially when you got teams that are switching or teams that are helping, you just one dribble, get off of it, create an advantage, and once the advantage is created, just continue to play for each other until you get a really good shot. And it's not from a bad place. Like that's not it. We don't got guys in there that are thinking like that. It's just the nature of the game sometimes. They get you. The pressure, if you want to use that word, of the game as it's going on can get you sometimes. And unfortunately, the performance tonight was not to the level that I expect or they expect out of themselves, I'm sure.
Doug, there in the second quarter, you guys took some really bad shots and it looked like the ball stopped moving. Just what happens in those moments and how can you rein that in?
Yeah, man.
Again, I it's kind of the same question that he asked. So really, to be honest, it's like, in your mind you think that, I can do it right now, instead of trusting your teammates and trusting yourself to get off the basketball, use your superpower to create an advantage for somebody else. And that's a selfless act that you just, and it's not, like I said, coming from a selfish place. It's just the nature of the game. I've been there. Played on a team that moved the ball a whole lot, but did we have every quarter that was like that? People remember it like that, but it was not always like that. It happened sometimes, and unfortunately for us, it happened versus a team that we should beat, especially at home, especially in the moment that we're in right now as we search down the road, towards the end of the season. But again, you got guys out, guys coming back, and now you got to assimilate them back in, and that gets difficult. Lineups change and different things, so you're trying to find that rhythm, and you're playing against a team that really isn't trying to find a rhythm. They're just trying to play hard. So all of a sudden they find a game. And when you look down, all of a sudden you find yourself in a bad way.
A lot of points from three in the first half and not many in the paint, and then sort of the inverse in that second half. What do you think of the difference in shot profile, and what kind of led to that?
I think all three of you guys asked the same question, so I pretty much just answered it. Yeah.
You touched on players being in and out and, needing to find some consistency, to finish the year. Do you think that, knowing the difficult road ahead to get into the postseason, do you think this is a game, like you said, you should have won, but do you think guys kind of overlooked the Bulls?
No, I don't think that they overlooked them. I think that all three of their questions, you don't overlook them. You think that you can do it instead of doing it the right way. And the right way can be boring sometimes. And when I look down at the stat sheet, 27 assists, yeah, but we should be well over 30.
16 in the first
threes, half. Not enough. Defensively, not protecting the paint. Like, you go on and on about all the little things that we talk about and that they know, and that they will come out and do better, but that doesn't help the feeling that you feel at this moment right now because you let something slip away.
Coach Christie, Coby White, 15 points in the third, 16 points in the fourth. What did you see there, how he kind of got away with a runaway train?
Yeah, spectacular player. I'm a fan of Kobe's, actually. He just put his head down.
Yeah.
And he just said, I want it, I'm going to go get it. And they already know how I feel about that. You can't let that happen. You got to pick him up early. Devin guarded him. He did a pretty good job there for a moment when we got back in the game, and then I took him out to try to match the minutes. And when he came back in, he got cross-matched a couple times, and he's a really good player, man. So when a player like that gets going, it's definitely tough. 14 free throws is, he was getting downhill. And on some of those, I used to say it when I was on TV, if you're going to foul them, foul them. 3-point plays are unacceptable. If you're about to foul somebody, wrap them up. Don't let the ball get above their head. But these are all the little things equal to big things. And when you add all those up, that's how we get here.
Doug, over the last maybe 2 weeks, we've seen a lot less shots for Zach LaVine. Are you concerned at all, just whether it's his teammates looking for him or him not looking to get up extra shots?
More than anything, just talking to Zach, we have to find ways that he can stay aggressive and be aggressive and play his game. And offensively, sometimes we run 4, we run 5, and he'll find himself in the corner or someplace. And when you go to those high splits, it's hard to get there if you don't, move that ball that extra time, that extra look. As you come off on the 4 high splits and somebody puts pressure on the rim, and now you get somebody going dribble handoff, big rolls to the rim really hard, it causes the corner to help. Bang, there he is. But if you're only looking for the pocket or you're not going through your progressions, and these are things like, that I will have to teach them, running that offense and understanding all of that are two totally different things. And I think that they can do that, but when they do it, it looks beautiful. But when you don't look through your progressions, that's where a guy like Zach will get lost. And we need him to be Zach LaVine. We need him to be aggressive and stay aggressive. And he understands that. And we'll watch film and talk to him about different areas and making sure that we are running things that put the ball in his hands for him to make decisions that we've seen him make his whole career. And that is an aggressive Zach LaVine. So am I worried? No, I'm not worried. But it feels like crap.
There's Doug Christie after this game tonight.
Stood out to you.
That last part about LaVine, it's kind of like what we had talked about. Like, he gets stuck in the corner sometimes, and this is where tonight, put that pressure on the rim consistently, get the defense rotating, make the extra pass. And I going back and watching the game last night against Cleveland, I know LaVine wasn't in this game, but there were just so many times the Kings were making quick decisions and moving the ball. DeRozan would get in that post area. He would, that double would, the second defender would start shading over. And right when that defender started to shade over, he was off the ball. He got it to like someone like Lyles, who swung it around to Carter, who swung it around to Ellis. Then Jared Allen's closing out hard on Keon Ellis. Keon puts the ball on the floor. Dunk. Easy looks. Like these are just, the ball has to move. And so when you do allow the just, hey, I'm going to go a little one-on-one, it's a late shot clock, you're just taking just tough shots. And then you're not getting a rebound. The Bulls get out and run. That's the recipe for them. They're going to get out and push, and they're playing with confidence. When someone like Coby White, like Doug said, guy's putting his head down, going strong with the ball right to the rim, and finishing with contact through bodies, it doesn't matter. And so it's tough.
The way that he was talking about guys utilizing their superpowers, and it kind of goes to what I was saying about when one guy is having a bad shooting night or isn't being aggressive or isn't taking shots or maybe defensively, they're just a step slow. Like, how can a different individual utilize their role, their superpower to really help out and kind of cover up some of the flaws of that person that is also out there that isn't playing their best basketball? And I feel like in games like this, sometimes when the best guys aren't playing their best, it trickles on down. And it just can't be like that. Someone else, like from the second unit, wherever, just needs to step up. And there's times they do that. Absolutely, there's times that second unit comes in, they're like, I don't give a shit how you started it. We're going to get things going again.
But this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Just one of these pieces has to get moved or something in the offseason. Just to balance things. Because like I'm watching LaRavia tonight. I thought LaRavia had a great impact on the game.
Yeah.
Plays 21 minutes, though. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. I thought he was being physical. He was putting the ball on the floor. He was making the extra pass. I thought he made really good decisions out there. But it becomes a minutes game, and you're leaning heavy on guys that you're paying money to, LaVine and DeMar.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Because those guys are going to play the majority of the minutes. And so that's where we go back to, all right, what worked so well last night? Well, one of those guys was missing. Well, and Sabonis too. And so other guys are getting opportunity, and it's not going to be great every night, but you see enough promise with some of those younger guys that it's intriguing. And it seems like those guys are a little more willing to make that extra pass, to do, they're better defensively.
You got to roll with what's working.
I know.
And at time, I mean, we talk about last night, who finished the game? Devin Carter. It was working last night, right? Like he rolled with him. You go. That's what you got to do. You can't worry. Not saying that's what Doug was doing, but like, you can't worry about the politics. You got to worry about the win, because the win is what ultimately will get people to not even give a shit about that. There might be some complaints from players, agents, whatever else, but like, you get the dubs, cures everything.
Yeah. Some super chats. Adrian, who made you mad, saying, not trying to piss you guys off. This team just makes me mad. Maybe I need therapy. Good night.
Oh.
Adrian, everyone could use a little therapy.
Hell yeah.
Everyone could use a little therapy. But yeah, just be nice in the chat, man.
That's it, man.
Come at Morgan like that.
And
man,
like, and hey, it's totally fine. I appreciate constructive criticism. If you're like, yo, what you said there was this, and this. But if you just say what I said was dumb or I said nothing, it's like, F you too.
Also, Jacob in the chat donated $5 saying, happy for Kev. But man, where was that when he was in Sacramento? I mean, he showed that his first year. I think people forget his first year in Sacramento was awesome.
Yep.
That OG Beam team that won 48 games, the number 1 offensive rating in the league that year. He hit over 200 threes, shot over 40% from 3. And then the next year, he comes back into camp and Mike Brown's talking about the starting lineups. Like, yeah, this is decided. Sabonis is in there, Fox is in there, and Harrison, and I think he said even Keegan.
Yeah.
And he left the shooting guard spot as like a question mark. So you come into camp going, wait, Chris Duarte might be starting in front of me. We just had something good. We won 48 games. And I know I have to get better at certain things. I think his confidence was shaken, and then his role got adjusted so many times. I think he didn't handle it the best, right?
No.
People also forget the guy's like 25 years old.
Yeah.
25-year-olds. As someone who's 28, I can remember 3 years ago, I didn't handle things well all the time from a maturity standpoint. If I was upset about something. So anyway, Kevin Huerter's a good player. I'm not surprised he did this tonight. And I think there are a lot of people, because of how the last year went with Kevin Huerter, acted like this guy was a borderline NBA guy now. And it's like, no, you know what? He moves well without the ball. He could shoot the rock. He can play make a little bit.
Defensive instincts, even though he wasn't the best defender. But like, you're also seeing other guys on the Sacramento Kings starting roster that aren't the best defenders, right? It's like,
he's a good player. He's a good player. And he's not an all-star. He's not like a great player, but he's a solid player in this league. And he could play minutes for a team. So I'm not surprised at all. We'll talk more about him coming up in just a second and look ahead to the Kings' next game. Plus, we get to our player of the game. We do need to mention that tonight's podcast is always presented by our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery.
Thank goodness.
Sentivo Vineyards and Winery, owned by Kings fans.
Owned by Kings fans. And they are the best people.
Yes,
they make some of the best wine. No, I'm not just saying that. It's literally every single bottle I've ever had, I think we've ever had, is truly amazing. And you can check it out too. You go to sentivovineyards.com. They also have a tasting room coming up in Fairfield, spring of 2025, just in time for perfect weather. You can become a wine club member. There's so many different perks that are also associated with the Sacramento Kings. So make sure to go to sentivovineyards.com.
Also presented tonight by our friends of our Golden One Credit Union. We're all one with Golden One. You can join for up to 50% off Kings home games. What a perk. If you just scan that QR code on the screen or go to golden1creditunion.com, you can see their range of products and services to help start your financial journey today, plus those perks that I mentioned. 15% off merch as well. Just go to golden1creditunion.com, the official credit union of the Sacramento Kings. Oh, we are all one with Golden One. Also presented tonight by our friends over at Medic Ambulance.
The Wambulance are here. Kidding. That's just how I feel tonight. I'm like so down. But Medic Ambulance, the trusted name in emergency medical services across Northern California. From life-saving responses to being the team behind the scenes at your favorite events, Medic is there to serve. When seconds matter, trust the professionals setting the standard in patient care. Medic is the official emergency medical response partner of Sac Republic and Sac State Athletics. Stingers up. Learn more at medicambulance.net.
We appreciate everyone's support of the Deuce and Mo podcast, including all the basketball sickos here late with us on a Thursday night after the Kings got clapped in the second half.
Hell yeah.
Biggest thing you could do, I haven't even said it tonight, is make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed as our chase is on for 100,000 subs. And hitting the thumbs up just helps our channel grow so more people get exposed to content. It's not because, oh my God, Morgan, we got 400 likes. I'm so happy now. It's like, no, it just helps so more people around the basketball universe get to see our content. So do that. It helps us in a major way.
Deuce can't sleep unless he has at least 400 likes tonight.
Thank you. Congratulations, DeMar DeRozan tonight.
Yeah.
22 points. He also surpassed 25,000 points for his career tonight.
Pretty badass. I mean, when you think about some of the names surrounding him on that list, he was asked about it in the post-game presser, and he's like, it's really hard to process after a loss, you know, and like really think about the moment and all the different things. And yeah, he says he will process tomorrow when he has the day off and everything, and completely understand, but just wild to see him do that in a Kings jersey.
He became the 27th player in NBA history to score 25,000 career points. He reached that milestone in the third quarter of tonight's Kings loss. Kind of crazy, too, to put in perspective. You're talking about that many people have done it. That's not that many.
Yeah.
And it just shows you just his consistency, his ability to
stay on the floor.
Yep. Be locked in and be able to score at a high level into his 16th year in the NBA. So congrats to him.
Yeah. Would have been much more fun talking about that after a win.
Who is your simply the best player of the game tonight, chat?
Oh, I got mine.
Coby?
Well,
Coby.
I was thinking Coby, but then I'm kind of down for heel Kevin Huerter, and like you going heel and maybe like making it Kevin Huerter and shoving it in everyone's face that he still got it.
Well, Coby White tonight had 35 points.
Sure.
It's worth noting that Coby White had in the fourth quarter 16 points, 4 of 7. He was 7 of 8 at the free throw line. Kevin Huerter had 25 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds in the game. He had 11 in the fourth quarter. Also had 4 dimes in the fourth quarter. He is 4 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 from downtown.
Well, shit.
Simply the best player of the game.
Yeah.
It goes to Red Velvet.
Boo.
Dude, give love to the guy.
Yep.
The guy came back to Sacramento and put in a massive performance. 25, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 10 for 16 shooting, 5 of 9 from three-point land. Are simply the best player of the game. Presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors. They're celebrating 30 years. And you could upgrade your whole window system during their 30th anniversary sale. Purchase 9 windows and a patio door for a huge discount, plus 100% financing available. Go to northwestexteriors.com because Morgan Reagan, they are
Simply the best. Trust Northwest.
My goodness. We joked last night, what would be the worst case scenario? Kevin Huerter like coming back, scoring 27, I think I said, and hit the game winner. Well, he didn't hit the game winner, but he hit the dagger tonight. The dagger 3 and dropped 25. After the game, Matt George and some of the local media caught up with Kevin Huerter, and this is from Matt George at ABC 10.
Was there the revenge narrative, the grudge narrative, or is this just a basketball game that you knew you guys needed?
100% revenge game. 100%. So that felt good. Came out here with a dub.
What specifically, like, what chip on your shoulder did you specifically bring with you into this game, or what did you want to accomplish in this game?
Yeah, we won't get into the details. Just an old team. Obviously, getting moved mid-season, getting a good opportunity over here, and came back and played well in a game I wanted to play well. So it feels good.
You had 2 big threes down the stretch there. I mean, how good do those feel to knock those down?
Felt really good. It felt really good.
What about the crowd's reaction, in the game? Still, appreciate, being part of the Beam team. So
That was nice to hear. I've always loved the fans here. I hope they continue to love me. I've said it before, I'll say it again. A city that loves their team, and it was awesome playing here. I said it after the game on the TV with the Bulls, like it's a Thursday night on a back-to-back, and this place was sold out, and that's what this fan base continues to bring. So it was a fun game. It was great to hear the warm reception, and I'll still have a lot of people here, both with the team and working for the team, that I'll keep in touch with.
Is your first game against your final team or your old team, does that provide kind of some final closure for you? Does that linger with you over the rest of your career, knowing it's your former team?
Yeah, no, that'll feel good. I mean, this team will most likely change, and as all teams do in the NBA, year to year, coaching staffs will change, and so this one being against the team I just came from and having a game like that, it definitely feels good. It's fresh on the mind. It happened a month ago, so I'll be excited to continue to come back and play here, but I don't think any of them will feel as sweet as this one did tonight.
So you had it circled on your calendar?
I wouldn't say circled. It was on a back-to-back. I mean, both teams were on a back-to-back, so
I use
it
a
wasn't
Google
ideal.
calendar.
But obviously a game I wanted to play well in.
From the moment you got off the plane from here to Chicago and started your time as a Bull, what's the most different about just the Chicago organization and your journey now?
I think honestly just the stage of, I wouldn't say where the team's at, but just the youth of this team. Like the locker room definitely feels younger. Coming from a locker room over there with Domas and Jay Crowder and Debo and just some older vets, JaVale McGee in years past, and coming over here and Modest Buzelis is the most vocal guy in the locker room. He's a rookie, so a little bit younger locker room. It's fun though. It's youthful. We've been playing well as of late. Play with a lot of energy, and our coach is preaching a lot of that. So it's been fun. It's been a good reset.
A lot closer to home too, right?
It is, yeah. People aren't staying up till 10:30 to watch my games, but we're doing it in the moment. People will watch, but my mom's a little bit happier getting to watch.
There's Kevin Huerter after tonight's game. Couple of things. You should have that mindset.
Yeah.
Oh my God. When we got fired from KHGK on April 1st, 2016, dude, that was a date that was etched in my mind forever. I've kind of moved on from it now, but you still carry a chip on your shoulder. Like, yeah, I'm gonna destroy now. Like that's the competitor in you. And to see him have that mindset, but then at the end, he's going, I was telling the Bulls broadcast after the game that these fans are just special.
Dude.
Sold out. Second I have a back-to-back, and the energy every night. So, credit to him for showing up, being competitive, and taking it to his old team.
And again, that's him even understanding how much this fan base shit on him throughout the bad times, throughout just the hard
That's
times.
unfair. I'm going to say that's unfair. Because you just generalized, in my opinion. Yeah, there were definitely people on social media who took shots at him. I don't think
You don't even think the majority?
I don't.
I felt like
mean, he got a warm reception tonight.
I completely agree. I just felt like there were way too many hard times during his challenging times.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes got the same shit. And I just think, and it's not like, oh, this fan base. It's a lot of fan bases do that. I just expect more from Kings because I think Kings fan base is truly special and amazing. And that's why I'm just like, no, like during his hard times, it's like he said in his goodbye thing, he was like, success isn't always linear. And I understand getting frustrated when things are bad, but I thought the way that he was analyzed as a player was wrong in so many different ways. As a defender, as someone that moves without the basketball, as someone that just was a shitty shooter there at the end.
Yeah, I think there's, I don't know. It's just social media. I think sometimes the loudest people on social media are.
I would talk to people in person, and that's the same kind of thing I would hear. And that's where I would like. I just remember always being like, "No, I don't agree with this."
But no one's. Here's my point, though. No one's coming up to you and go, "Hey, Morgan. Hey, big fan. I like Kevin Huerter." Like that's just not stuff that happens from people.
Are you serious? People say that all the time. I seriously, I get that. Oh, I love so and so so much. Obviously, if it's a kid, you go, "Who is your favorite player?" But like, even from adults, they'll be like, "Oh, I love watching so and so or whoever." But that's truly. I'm just saying, with Kevin Huerter, I think it's so cool that he like has this appreciation for such a special fan base, even through the challenges.
And he's playing some good basketball with the Bulls. I mean, since the All-Star break, shooting 38%, that percentage goes up after tonight. And the Bulls are 8-7 since the All-Star break. They were one of the worst defensive teams in the league before the All-Star break. Since then, 10th in defensive rating. So they're trying to move up to the 8th spot, even though they're well below 500 at 30-40. Yes, they are just 2 games out of the 8th spot in the play-in race in the Eastern Conference, which is just insane. But they're playing a lot better, and you're seeing like, okay, they're giving Buzelis some shine here, even though Donovan, I think sometimes he wants to go for the win. He's like, I got to play some other guys, and it's like maybe you should just unleash that rookie and just let him do his thing. Sure. But Coby White, like we talked about, has just emerged in a big time way, and then I'm happy for Kevin Huerter, and like, dude, I can imagine how that feels to do that against your old team.
Oh my God,
first game back, and how many times. We had talked about, oh man, Kevin Huerter's going back to Atlanta, revenge game, and then like, he had 5 points. Okay.
And then he chooses to have his real revenge game tonight in Sacramento. Like, cool, really cool.
Yeah,
heel Red Velvet. That's what he is now.
Love that. Next up for the Kings, they are off tomorrow.
Thank God.
And then they welcome in the Milwaukee Bucks to town. Milwaukee hammered the Lakers tonight in LA. That was in a game where the Lakers didn't have anybody. The Bucks have been a bit up and down here recently, but whatever. I mean, I don't really pay much attention to that.
5-5 in their last 10.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's changed a little bit now. So what, 1, 2, okay, maybe it's close to that. Either way, they're 39-30. Giannis is a freak. They added Kyle Kuzma at the deadline.
Yeah.
They still got Dame. Going to be a tough challenge, as we have said so many times about this homestand.
It's look, we can sit here and have that hope. We can sit here and be realistic, or we can sit here and just not have too many expectations. It's hard though, right? Like you're at this point of the season where you see the really good of this Kings team, and then you see the really bad, and then you see the okay version of this team. Like tonight, I didn't once question their effort. It was more just like staying locked in, pedal to the metal kind of thing. That was frustrating to see. The urgency, I guess you could say. And so against the Bucks at home, you keep on that urgency. There's no reason why, with the style of play that we've seen, that it can't be a very competitive, good game.
Yeah, and where the Kings are at, here's how I'm just approaching the rest of the way.
Yeah.
They're in the 9th spot right now in the West, right? They're in that 9th spot. After tonight's loss, they are 4 games behind Minnesota, who is now in 8th. 4 games behind Minnesota. Also 4 games out of 7th, the Clippers, okay? Clippers have the tiebreaker on Minnesota. They have a 2.5 game lead on the Suns right now and on the Mavs. It sounds like AD wants to come back soon. Let's see if the Mavs make a push here. My point to all of this is just stay in the 9. I mean, my expectation is they're going to be in the 9. They're going to be in the 9-10 matchup. I have accepted it.
Yeah.
If it's better, if they somehow go on some improbable surge here down the stretch and make it climb up the standings to 7 or 8, great. I've accepted the 9-10. Just stay at 9. Give me that home play-in game, win that game, then figure out a way to go on the road to take on Minnesota or the Clippers. I don't know. It is what it is. What else can we say?
There's nothing.
And the other thing is, you're still dealing with life without Sabonis. Reevaluated in 10 days, so he's probably not gonna. I mean, we don't know. He could get reevaluated, and it's like it's not going well. He's missing 2 more weeks.
Sprained right ankle.
Yeah.
And I mean, while also still trying to make sure his hamstring was okay in this process, but I'm sure that's going to feel even better with this time and this rest. So yeah, you just don't,
And you're looking at the schedule, and I say 2.5. They're 2.5 up. They still play the Suns one more time, the final game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They could technically still fall out completely. So, I mean, you just don't know.
I know.
I'm just done guessing. I'm here to accept whatever is coming my way.
Look, we're not guessing. We're looking at the Western Conference standings every 24 hours. I mean, that's just what it is. And when we evaluate the standings and where the Kings are at and what they have in front of them, you can only do so much because it still depends on what the other teams behind them and in front of them are also doing. So we try to make our educated guesses, have some fun with it. I say it's fun, but sometimes it's actually just really stressful, but whatever. Oh no. Who's this counting?
13 games left, right? Or is that 12 games left?
That's it?
82
like
games
it
in a
was
season.
Just like 16 the other day.
Man.
I don't even know. That's crazy. What day is it? March 20th?
March 20th, the first day of spring.
Oh, yeah.
Spring is in the air.
Spring. First day of spring. What a beautiful day. It was a really pretty day in Sacramento.
It was.
Too bad the Kings couldn't get the dub.
Something I struggle with when the Kings lose is acknowledging maybe positive things that happened tonight. So I should just briefly do that. Malik, I don't know if we gave enough love for his game. He had 34.
You can do it with a better attitude.
Okay. Hi.
No.
Spring is in the air. And I want to acknowledge a few things that I did like about tonight's game because not everything is bad. Hi, I'm Deuce Mason. Malik Monk caught fire in the first quarter. That was awesome. And I liked him attacking the paint, getting to the rim in the second half. Great stuff offensively from Malik Monk. He finished with 34 points.
That's it?
I really like Jake LaRavia's minutes tonight.
Okay.
I also liked when Keon Ellis got pissed off and shoved, was it Trey Jones?
It was
to the
Trey
ground?
Jones. Because Trey
Yeah.
Jones, like, effed with his arm, and then
Yep.
he's like, oh, F you back.
Boom. Pushed him down. You know what the swing play of the game? Guys, I go back negative for a second.
Oh, Deuce.
No, just real fast.
Okay.
Third quarter, the Bulls are called for a flagrant foul. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
On Devin Carter, okay? It turns out they go, yeah, it's a flagrant foul. 2 shots in the ball. Carter goes to the line. It's 83-80 at the time. 83-80 Bulls on top. You go, oh, this could be a swing play in the Kings' favor. I mean, who knows? You knock down 2 free throws, make a 3, 5-point swing. Carter misses both free throws. Kings miss the shot. The Bulls go down. Coby White gets an and one. And I'm like, you just got a flagrant foul. You came up empty, and then White has an and one?
Huge.
Brutal.
Go back to positive.
Oh, positive.
I got one.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't care about your opinion. Do not be, I don't want to hear it. No. I love the wave. The whole crowd, the wave. Shut up.
I mean,
don't
cool.
want, shut up. Just shut up and let me have my positive thing.
I said, okay, cool.
Say it.
I'm just going to say this right now.
Yeah.
You've been far too on edge tonight.
What do you mean?
With Adrian, with me,
Well,
with people like.
But look, he was disarmed. He says he probably
No, but you lost it, and you're losing it on me right now because I was like, cool wave. And
No, I said shut up. I need positive.
Don't tell me to shut up.
But I didn't wave on your parade. What is it? I was positive with your positive stuff. That's the second time you've thrown a paper ball at me today. The wave.
Oh my God.
Keep it going. You know, I can have one irritable night.
I know. I was making sure I was going to respond to anything about the wave. I didn't know you were in love with the wave so much. It's not like I'm anti-wave. I just, out of all the things that happened tonight, I wasn't going, hey, how about the wave tonight? Wasn't it a fun moment? Like,
I had fun watching the wave.
I've had fun. I saw my Uncle John tonight. He was at the game.
Aw, that's cool.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
So the wave, Uncle John, Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Look at that. They're still
Met
first,
some good people.
and first day of spring.
First day of spring.
Look at that. You feel better already?
No.
Okay.
No. I think we all need a time away. It's been an emotional roller coaster ride of a season. Last night against the Cavs, awesome win. Tonight, stop predicting. We just don't know how it's going to.
What was that?
Okay.
What?
Donald, Deuce, you've been a juicy downer.
Yeah.
Adam, Daddy and Mommy are scaring me.
Ew.
Michael, Deuce, you're being sensitive.
Thank you. Yes.
Why is Deuce hating on the... Why am I being bullied
Because
right now?
you want to know, and look, this is a time to reflect and accept accountability because I added to your positive thing and then you shit on it. And I was just like, no.
Let me ask you, what did I say?
You said, cool, the wave.
You took it wrong. If you
Don't gaslight me. Don't gaslight me. No.
I don't even know what that means.
That means you're manipulating the situation to actually make me feel like I was basically that my feelings are not validated and that I'm wrong.
25,000 points for DeMar DeRozan.
Oh,
that's another positive.
That should have been like our number one positive.
Fans are great as usual.
Really great. Really great. The wave happened. No, but honestly, like loud, good crowd, a lot of good people. A lot of good people come up. Very fun.
Let's get the final thoughts, Morgan, please.
You don't want to go another hour?
I could.
Oh, could you?
Yeah, I got things to say.
Like what?
Ask me something.
Let's see.
Great stuff. If you want to feel a little better tonight,
Yeah.
the Knicks lost to the Hornets. Back-to-back bad losses for the Knicks. Does that make you feel better?
Sure.
No, because the Knicks came here and beat you. The Warriors had to hang on and beat the Raptors tonight, 117-114. Steph Curry left that game.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like either one of those things.
They're calling it a pelvic injury, a pelvic contusion. Happened with 3:32 left in the third quarter. But they still beat the Raptors 117-114. Jimmy Butler had a triple-double. 16 points, 12 assists, 11 rebounds.
Damn.
Yep. And then you had Indiana beating Brooklyn overtime. Who cares? Milwaukee was the other one, 118-89 over the Lakers. It's your night in the NBA. Anyway, do you have a question?
Yeah. What's your biggest fear going into the play-in?
Did you have that question, or were you thinking about it as you opened your mouth?
I knew I wanted to ask something.
What was your biggest?
No, because I was like going to ask about your biggest fear going into the off season. I'm like, no, because I don't want to go there right now, And then so I was like trying to make it more short term of something that's like coming up sooner than we do our off season shows.
I mean, the biggest concern about the play-in is it's a play-in. It's one and done in that 9-10 matchup. If you win that game, great. You get another opportunity, and you saw what that turned into last year. I don't know. I mean, I've accepted what this season is. I'm not some irrational person who's sitting here going, hey, man, they win that 9-10 matchup. They win that next game, and they get to the playoffs, and, I mean, look out. They can take down OKC. Like, look, I understand there's going to be an off season with a lot of tough conversations about what is going to happen with this roster, but I'm not there. I'm just trying to enjoy the rest of the way, and I'm hoping for the best, and just we'll see.
That's a positive attitude.
That's all I can do.
What's your favorite thing about spring? What?
Just feels like a little kid asking me questions right now. What's your favorite thing about this? What's your favorite thing about this?
I said, what's your biggest fear?
I mean,
what's your favorite thing?
The best thing about spring is easy. I like it.
I don't know the answer.
Well, back in the day, I used to hate it. When we used to have to do morning, when we did Good Day Sacramento in the morning or did morning radio, I love when the sun is out until 7:30, 8 o'clock. When I was doing morning radio, morning TV, and had to wake up at like 3:30, I hated that. I was like, oh, God, the sun's still out. I need to go to bed. But I love that about the summertime. Summertime, spring. To me, it's the same thing.
Well, no, because it's the first day of spring and not the first day of summer.
Okay.
But I understand.
Yeah.
Do you think Zach LaVine can be consistently aggressive? Do you think it's going to happen for the rest of this season, or do you think it has to happen like next season?
Probably an off-season thing.
I would like to go back and see how he was with the Bulls.
I think this year he definitely took a step back a little bit too. He let Coby White cook. I think he was trying to play some team basketball.
But he was super efficient himself out there.
He is super efficient. He typically is. But I don't think I think people have this perception that he's like a chucker, and he's not a chucker. He just hasn't been. And I think people want more from him in that regard. They want him to look to be more aggressive. But it's not just on him. Like, the team has to help him. The coaches have to help him. We always act like the player. It's like, is LaVine supposed to go up to like DeMar DeRozan or Malik Monk or whoever and just rip the ball away?
Yeah.
And then go score? Like, that's not how basketball works.
Well, I think it was Ham that even asked that, like, do teammates need to do a better job of getting him open, or is it him being more aggressive? Like, because when you see him aggressive and utilize his superpowers, athletic ability, whatever you want to call it, it's just like,
I also just want to note this because we haven't even said this yet. And just to be completely fair, he missed the game due to personal reasons yesterday. Okay,
yeah.
I don't know what that means. Like, and I don't need to know what that means.
Right.
But like, I don't know. Maybe there's shit going on in his life.
Absolutely.
And he wasn't feeling great tonight. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely.
But
And it's
not, he didn't have an injury. It was personal reasons.
Yeah.
So that's something happening.
Yeah.
They're
and
humans.
I mean, like, that's exactly it. I mean, I'm not even having my best night because I'm tired and irritable.
I know. I can tell.
And you just never know what someone's going through and how they need to actually push through something. And it's like, it's not to give excuses, but it's just to take a step back and like analyze the situation and humanize the situation a little bit, for sure.
Gregory in the chat says, are you scared of Sabonis asking out? No, I know Sam Amick had that line that said, like, sources say that Sabonis will seek clarity on the Kings' future.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, something to that respect.
That was pretty good.
I think that's a fair question. I mean, I'd have that same question if I was in Sabonis' shoe. That doesn't mean like he's going to ask out. And if he does, well, you know what?
You figure it out.
You figure it out. You know, not the first player to ever ask out in NBA history if that went that way, and it would be a shame if it ended that way. But I don't know. I'm not worried about it.
I like
you know,
your
you
approach.
pivot. You have to pivot in this league. That's what it is. Shit changes fast in the NBA.
So fast.
Okay, you can be good one. I mean, hell, we've seen it. You went 48 wins, number 3 seed, feeling like, oh, where are you gonna go from here? And 2 years later, you've got like some Chicago Bulls on your team, a new coach. Like it changes fast. It does. And so now, who knows? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Enjoy your day off, Morgan, tomorrow. Get some rest, please. I beg you, please.
I'm not even offended. I will.
We appreciate you guys so much for hanging out. Let us know how you're feeling about things after tonight's game in the YouTube comments after the show. We love you guys so much, but we got to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your evening. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.